Yep. We are going to bring our meeting to order this evening at 6:02. Welcome, everyone. If we can have a roll call, please.
Colleen Kozak.
Present.
Rachel Merricklin.
Present.
Lauren Dowden.
Present.
David Shepherd.
Present.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Present.
Michael Allmiller, present. Denise Jones, absent with cause.
Thank you. And if we could all stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we need to make one adjustment on the agenda as we are reviewing. It is action item C. We need to amend the amount down 1,000, right? We like down 1,000.
Yes, we do.
So instead of 184,918.96, we are changing that number to 183,232, also 96. So that will just be the only change that I know of, unless anyone else has something else they need to change. Okay, so if we could accept the agenda then, approve the agenda with one adjustment. If I could have a first, please.
Motion to approve the agenda with one adjustment.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call, please.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yay.
Rachel Merricklin.
Yes.
Colleen Kozak.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yay.
Michael Allmiller, yay.
No. You have 3 yays today.
This is,
Check it out.
That is Christmas.
Denise isn't gonna know what's going on when she gets back, right? Very good. Okay, so I will pass the baton proverbially.
Perfect. Our first report for this evening is to congratulate our CMS girls basketball team. Of course, they are front row and center. So I'm going to offer the opportunity for Tim Hannenberg to come speak on their behalf and congratulate them for a job well done this season.
All right, I just want to congratulate these girls. They put in all the work. I was just there to help guide them to an undefeated regular season and the SWIC Conference champions. And also we took 3rd place in the conference tournament. These girls had a great season. They really played hard. They played well as a team, and I'm very proud of their accomplishment this season. So you want the girls to
Yes,
join me?
we can help, if you could help us with names.
Yes.
And before we do that, Tim, of course, no team is a good team without a great coach. So we want to, of course, say thank you for your service and your dedication to this team as well. So if you could help.
Melanie Barnes.
Yeah, Mel. And you can stay up
Just
here,
stand
sweetie,
up
we'll
here.
take
We
a
like
picture.
photos.
Delaney Feltus.
Congratulations, Delaney.
Ella Garvin. Raina Herring. Aaron Panico. Lola Ramazinski. Sylvia Robertson, she's not here tonight. Clarissa Robinson. Akai Williams. Julia Yap.
Coach Tim Hannenberg.
All right, hey, we can all together for a picture. That would
Somebody,
be-
someone can grab the trophy and the plaque.
Yes.
Me, I caught trophy. I caught trophy. I caught trophy. I caught trophy.
Maybe I should have signed that, huh?
Why are you in front of me? No, you need to see.
Hey, let me make sure I look good. Where is
Not too crazy.
They did all the work.
You can make it.
Stop it. Y'all look good.
Alright.
Ooh.
Congratulations, ladies.
Of course you can keep the outtakes.
So you all need to know those cupcakes back there?
Thank you.
Celebrate all you? We understand.
They're not
We
gonna want to.
understand. Oh, that's so
Right?
great.
You guys can take a cupcake.
Lots of hard work.
You guys are alright.
And girls, you might not have heard, but the cupcakes are for you.
Right?
So please grab a cupcake.
Yes, grab a cupcake and we won't make you stay unless you really want to.
Unless you really want to.
And if you really want to, you're welcome to stay.
Where's Melanie?
Or not.
Who stays? Thank you.
Thank you. Well done, ladies. Well done.
I think it's because my kids are so short. Like,
I think maybe that's why I didn't want to get in the picture.
Undefeated basketball player.
I mean, they need to be.
Minnie's like this little,
We are short people.
yeah.
I did not
And
aspire
so I'm
for
just
tall.
like, when I look at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tall. That's why I don't like
That
walking.
was a lot of people.
I feel like I'm in high school again, like.
Okay, shall we?
Maybe give it a minute.
Okay. Festive group back there.
Yeah.
I liked the energy though.
Yeah, they're cute.
They were. That was awesome. 6, 7. Okay, so it wasn't 7th, 8th. It
The
was
6th, 7th, that's why
That
I
was
said they're
6th.
so tall.
They are so tall.
Because
There were some
Minnie's in
tall
7th
5th
grade.
graders in Northwest. I was really surprised. Yeah. Okay.
Next on the agenda is updates and improvements to school safety. So in an interest to our students, staff, and administration, we reviewed all internal and external safety procedures and protocols, which include staff training. This staff training was reviewed and received to teachers within one of our first Institute days. We implemented an internal communication app with board approval, and I'm extremely pleased with this internal communication app, and our police department and fire department have direct access to this in the event of an emergency. We have common threat assessment procedures district-wide with administrative protocols. We've increased our crisis communication response as listed on our website and shared with all families on an ongoing basis as needed. That was directly tied to our strategic plan and improvements. And of course, we have a hashtag, #BeEverAlert, in the event of an emergency.
That makes sense.
And then we've recently increased security for staff and student. That includes the addition of fobs to particular door entryways to decrease doors being propped open in unnecessary situations. So the Board of Education, you've received a memo that came from our technology department. And on the agenda tonight is my recommendation to approve the contract with Johnson Controls Security Solutions in the amount of $184,000 approximately, or
83.
because we had an amendment.
I love those kinds of amendments.
And the overall goal, one of our big picture observations in terms of school safety is to again decrease prop doors in the event of an emergency, but then still provide access to our direct employees in the event of particular situations. We've also received feedback from community members, which is important to have a 3 entryway procedure to decrease, I would say specifically, involvement within a particular employee who needs access, and then a community member or any other person who does not need access. So that is where that recommendation is coming from, and it is again tied to school safety, and a direct need to which I've observed district-wide. To give you a preview of what's next to come, it is our intention to start reviewing additional cameras with a recommendation to come to the board this summer. Camera access.
It was very thorough. That was a lot of different contracts and things like that. And I just, I
Yeah.
I appreciated the attention to detail That in itself made me feel that the students and staff would be safer, just knowing that we had taken such a close look at all of that. So I'm glad to be moving forward with that.
Yes. And just to draw to your attention too, we've really worked on internal communication, and so over the winter months, we're gonna be installing these in every classroom. And our intent behind this was to have common procedures and common communication district-wide to which our staff was trained on. And so these will be installed with a plastic cover in every single building, every single classroom, every single office, so that it's a quick reference, not only just for our staff, but also for our substitutes in the event that they're coming into our buildings as well. So really kind of, hopefully walks them through in the event of an emergency, something that may occur.
Great, all right. And that's an adjusted agenda item for later, so that's awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Curriculum and instruction.
Yes.
Amanda.
Okay,
Thanks, Amanda.
hello.
Amanda has some exciting updates with parent education.
I tried to blow up the flyers so you guys could see it from the screen, but it looks like it's a little difficult. There's just a few event updates. So we're hosting a virtual family night on January 25th at 6 p.m. The overall purpose of family night is to provide families with ways they can support their child or children's education. This night will focus on student behavior. We have a guest speaker, Elvis Slaughter. He's an educator, consultant, publisher, author, retired sheriff superintendent, fire and police commissioner, and criminologist, which matches his last name. I know, right?
I think Mr. Shepherd knows him.
Yes.
Oh, you know him?
Yes, I know.
Oh, very nice.
No, yes. I know.
Great.
He's written and published 10 books and many articles since 2005, which includes preschool to prison, and that's gonna be his emphasis for this family night. He's also a member of the NAACP, the Chicago Far South Side Suburban Branch. And NAACP is National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Second event that's happening is on the right side. So Equity Unleashed is having its second meeting January 25th with guest speaker Dr. Yvette Dubel. This network was built for or created for South Cook ISC to provide a safe space for everyone wanting to partake in equity work. My goal is to elevate this safe space into a brave space, which can lead districts into starting affinity groups. I would develop an affinity group specifically for our EP teachers and staff in the months and year to come. And then last event, Mary Black, she's a librarian at Evergreen Public Library, and I will be hosting the Teen Black History Month book tasting on January 22nd at the Public Library at 3:30 p.m. I'll be sharing book recommendations for the Teen Black History Month Reading Challenge, and teens will have an opportunity to choose from curated list of books to check out with their library cards. Posters have been put up in Central, and the library newsletter has been distributed to advertise for the event. So
A
really
book
want the
tasting. I
Central
love that.
students to go, yeah. And then last but not least, I wanna give a big shout out to Melissa Dominich for advising the Multicultural Club at Central. I went to the first meeting and it was really cool for them to have that space. But their first meeting was December 1st. They discussed DEI work, creating a cultural cookbook, designing a school mural, and more. It was nice seeing the students have this space. And just like Melissa, my hope is as the months and years go on, more and more educators are open to addressing educational equity as it's everyone's responsibility. So just a quick shout out.
Nice. You've been busy. Well, busy. Thank you. I know that Equity Unleashed is, it's beyond even 124, and so
Oh, yeah.
on behalf of everybody you're serving, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And if you guys know anyone, lead them over to the network. And I also placed the decals in front of you. I gave you guys. ones
I got
already,
mine.
But if
It's
you
on my
want more, I'll
laptop.
give you more.
No, it's on my laptop. Yeah,
So, yeah.
all the cool kids, right? We were, that's right, Northeast. You
Oh,
were
yeah.
very excited. There was
You
dancing.
remember that?
There was dancing, like actual dancing. Very happy about that, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much. Next, we have an update from Human Resources, Ms. Patricia Roberts, tied to her webpage.
Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. Okay, exciting news. I'm glad I always get to do the exciting things. So HR department is officially here. We spent the last school year training me, for one thing, to get me acclimated, and two, restructuring the HR department. So now we officially have an HR team, and I have to brag on them a little bit. We're a team of 3 strong. Lisa Gallick, who's our HR specialist, she's responsible for recruitment, onboarding, some reporting, and she does a lot of our special projects. And then Melanie Summers, who is our HR clerk, is responsible for managing our substitute pool, the onboarding process for that. She also does a lot of special projects. And of course, she is one of the main people who work with Sonia to manage our front office operations in the district office. And then, of course, there's myself, who is responsible for all of the above. And I get to do that with an amazing team. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention the business service department, because we work very close hand to hand with them. And under the direction of Eric Rossi, Tracy Nolan, our payroll manager, and Shannon Kuzak, our benefits specialist, they're amazing. So we're just all really a great team in making things happen every day. So if you go on our website, click about, and you know when you go to departments, you didn't see us, now you see us. We are there. Just want to reiterate that the Human Resource Department is here, in line with the district's mission, values, and goals. Our focus is very much on our employees as well as the students, their safety, their well-being, ensuring their engagement, recognition. We want to retain the best and qualified employees forever, if they live with us forever. And career development, which we work closely with Ashley Carlson in the curriculum department. And then I'd be remiss not to mention that one of our biggest goals is to ensure equity, diversity, and inclusion, which is one of the reasons we're super happy to have Amanda here to work with her on those initiatives as well. And then our policies and procedures, I'm working with Jenna probably every day on a lot of those things and ensuring accountability and compliance. So those are our goals, and we're just super happy to be here to support, service our employees and each and every employee in our community. So thank you. That's it. Any questions?
We are live, I just double checked.
Okay, you asked because Denise was texting us.
Well, yeah, and she said she's still trying.
Sorry. We're getting live updates from our board member who can't physically be here because of her surgery, so she's saying, hey, okay. Thank you. We got distracted by amazing. You're on the tab. It's official. Yes, it is a department, and it was a department before it was a department, so thank you for everything. Well done.
All right, next up, Rebecca
So-
Tira.
With her festive Love that.
Pulling out all of the Christmas stuff this week.
I love it.
And Eric.
And
We're gonna
Eric.
talk about the grant, our IDPH grant.
Yes, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the IDPH grant. So this grant, where's Eric? You're not gonna get in my way, okay. You need to be here because you found the grant. We applied for the grant together. So the grant is through the IDHP, the Illinois Department of Public Health, which was awarded funds through the CDC, allowed school districts the opportunity to apply for the grant, to be flexible with their population and use the monies awarded for existing programs and or create new programs to enhance like mental health and well-being. So Eric found the grant. We worked very hard in September and we were awarded monies in October. So that was very exciting for me. And
It was very exciting.
So I just want to talk a little bit about the scope of work. and like what we'll be doing and what the purpose of the grant is. So we have three main objectives. One of them is to enhance our workforce ability. So when I talk about that, next slide. Okay, thanks. Talk about targeting like training sessions for our staff. What's a little different about this grant and how we're gonna use the money is we're not only focusing on our students, but we're focusing on our staff and our parents as well. I think that's the big difference in regards to this. So we're targeting training sessions, workshops, and resources for staff members so they can support our students and themselves. Then talking about increasing professionals, so increasing our partnerships. We already have an existing partnership with the Center for Self-Actualization through our other grant, but we're talking about increasing our partnerships to provide therapists, counselors, service providers even within our schools. And then one of the other objectives is to develop some language. So we kind of talk about a lot of language in like our DEI work, and even in our crisis response, so having like consistent language across the district when we're referencing things and talking about things and helping reduce that stigma of mental health. So some of the additional activities, I'm super excited, we partnered with the Cook Center for Human Connection. So this is an organization that we are partnering with to do a number of things. So starting in January, we're gonna have monthly webinar series for parents. Most of them are offered in English and Spanish. So they will be virtual, so it'll definitely like allow hopefully more participation, but it's on a variety of mental health topics. So some of them are your child's anxiety, what parents need to know about suicide prevention, your active child ADHD, vaping, school refusal, bullying, all the different things that we're continuing to see throughout the district. So I'm super excited about that. They're also offering parent coaching. So this is individualized coaching to support healthy relationships to parents who have, students experiencing pretty significant mental health challenges. Can you click on the flyer, Dan? It should link. I just want to show you the flyer. This came out in our newsletter this week. We really wanted parents to have the opportunity over the holiday break when they're home with their students for that extended period of time. So this is free, this is anonymous, weekly calls with therapists, 24-hour texts with therapists, tips and resources, kind of developing plans with parents that are struggling and how they can support themselves and their students.
That's really amazing.
Yeah, this is hopefully going to be a game changer. And the whole
Supportive
purpose of
families
this
and
is through
supportive
parentsguidance.org, and the whole purpose is kind of building that relationship with parents to help them advocate and support their students.
How are we promoting this data?
Pardon me?
How are we
So
promoting
it went out in the newsletter, and then I'll talk a little bit about additional promoting when I talk about our website updates, and then flyers and just kind of getting the word out to staff as well. Like I know that I've been at a couple meetings with parents, and I think I've said this to the board. One of the differences I've seen the past couple of years is parents are really looking for help and they're asking us for help. So just being able to have a resource that they can access right away is gonna be very valuable, so.
Is that flyer going to be like the postcards that we send out for some of the other things to?
We can
We
absolutely.
could,
I
that's
think
a
we should
great
consider it, cause
idea.
that way it's just going to
That's
all the
That is
families.
really a great idea.
Yes,
I was just gonna say QR codes.
we can absolutely do that.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a QR code and I already tried to use it, so I know. And then obviously they'll be keeping like the analytics, so it's anonymous, but they'll be letting us know like how many are accessing and whatnot, so. We're also gonna have access to like parent courses and resources, for example, parentsguidance.org just sent like a flyer, like their newsletter next month for January is like everything you need to know about vaping. So tagging some of those resources and getting those out there for parents as well. The webinars that they will be hosting will also be available for us to put on our website for parent. I think it was up to 18 months, they'll have access to those as well. And then along with the parent coaching, actually staff is this is accessible to staff as well. So any D124 staff member who's experiencing any kind of mental health challenge, like at home with their students as well, will have access. So really just like building that community and supporting like the whole EP family. And then we're also accessing some staff professional development. So one of the things that we have used them already for is bullying prevention. So we hosted, as part of our inclusion series, 2 of our schools have had the bullying prevention in schools.
And all 5 will receive it.
Yes, all 5 will receive that. So this is a big, and then again, we're continued partnership with our Center for Self-Actualization. We still have all 5 of schools have therapists in the building, so we'll be able to increase their time. And then they, as part of our district community leadership team, and our partnership with the library as well, they'll be hosting hopefully some more parent webinars at the library. So very excited. Any questions about any of that? And I just want to thank Eric. We really did work on this together. I'm speaking mostly, but this really was a group effort.
Yeah, it's
so.
a very good feeling to win a competitive grant. That was pretty cool.
It was a process.
So we're very excited.
And to continue where.
It was very
us and
competitive.
parents Really, where, when those ran out,
Yeah,
we
no,
wanted
that's a
a
great
way to
point.
continue the supports that we had in place, and this is continuing and then some. I mean, this is like above and beyond and continuing to grow, which is just amazing, so.
Yes, our theme tonight is parent education. We've
I love it.
noticed that we need to increase that and making sure that parents have access to resources, and we wanna continue to grow that opportunity for our parent population as a whole.
And just like throwing it out there too, when participating in our collaborative council with our other student support directors of our Aero Co-op districts, we're very, very interested when we brought this up, because, you know, when we're talking and we're meeting, we're kind of all experiencing the same thing with our students and families, so just being able to share those resources out there is very helpful, so.
Just had a quick question. The meeting we attend last month, I think it was, the subcommittee meeting with the
Yes.
software. Did you all make any more advancements with the software?
Yes, we actually purchased the Goal Book, and we're doing at our January Institute training, we're doing our implementation with our staff.
Okay. I like that software.
Yes,
It's
it's
really nice
very
software.
exciting,
It's
yes.
exciting.
Goal
So-
book,
Yeah.
Yes.
like, okay.
So our Goal Book toolkit, so part of our special ed high quality IEP subcommittee is having you know, writing more legally defensible IEPs, goals and objectives, measurable goals and objectives. We kind of investigated this software. Mr. Shepherd was there, so he kind of got to see you know, what it's all about and how it really could like scaffold supports and services for our students. And just, it's filled with so many resources for all of our service providers. So from special education teachers, resource, self-contained instructional, to our related service providers like speech paths, OTs, physical therapists, and social workers. So it really is a great tool.
And all staff will be trained on that at January
All
Institute
staff will
Day.
be trained in January. It's like an hour implementation training, and then myself and Ms. Mannion, who's on that subcommittee, talked about in the afternoon what we could do to support our staff in kind of investigating and whatnot, the tool more, because like one thing we know is that like if we don't give staff time to kind of explore the tool, they're not going to use it. So they had some really great ideas and like what they do. One of them was like a scavenger hunt, like using the tool, so you're just kind of getting access to everything and bringing some of their own data so they can explore it as well. So pretty excited about that. And some of the staff that's been exposed or seen it is also really excited about it as well. So that makes it even more exciting. So, okay. So I'm gonna talk about the webpage updates. Okay, so we have a whole new department webpage. So this is the landing page for under departments.
The
So
theme for the
Yes.
evening too is new web pages,
Support
like,
Services
okay.
Department webpage. Like prior to this, the new layout, it really just was a small blurb about all of the departments that encompass student support services. So I really truly felt like it was important to have each of those departments its own landing page and a little bit more. So I anticipate that like as we go on, we'll be adding things. But this is obviously, again, everything that student support services encompasses. So early childhood, pre-kindergarten, special education. We did have a health page, we've now changed it to health and wellness, and I'll go into that a little bit. Social emotional learning, PBIS, and then extended day. So, okay. I didn't put the screenshot of everything, but I just wanted, early childhood and pre-kindergarten, they each have their own landing page, but both have, what is new on there is just a summary of our programs. So what our early childhood programs look like, what our pre-kindergarten programs, how you are eligible for those. A lot of students that come through our right to early childhood are through early intervention. So it's a little specific about that in regards to transitioning from early intervention to early childhood. And then what those program models look like in regards to philosophy and scheduling, curriculum, location, days, times. As you know, our early childhood and pre-kindergarten classes are at our north schools. And then some linked resources. So some of the linked resources for like the early childhood page, a couple of years ago, I did create like a welcome to early childhood with a lot more specifics about these. And then I update it yearly if we have like a staff change, we have pictures. I think that that's like one of the most important things, like when we do meetings with parents, especially for our early childhood teachers, they want all the logistics. Where is it? What's the time of day? What are
It
school
might be their
supplies?
first child
Yeah,
in a classroom
exactly,
setting, and
you know,
it's
all the
very-
important things.
Oh my gosh,
You know, how can I
absolutely.
stay connected? So, who's the principal, who's the secretary, so all of those things are in that attached packet. But some other resources we have are comparing early intervention to early childhood. So what we know is there's a little bit of a difference. Early intervention is more family-focused goals, or you know, early childhood, the goals and objectives on the IEP are related to school and how those deficits impact a student at school. And then we also have on our pre-kindergarten, we have our 2023-24 screening dates. So we have a variety of screenings as part of our child find. And then we do have, there's our income verification, which is part of our grant and program document link there as well. So in our special education, again, we have a little bit of what special education is, but then it kind of goes into detail about child find, our responsibilities, child find, and the referral process. So again, like if a parent wants to refer a student, if the school refers a student for an evaluation, then evaluation, what that looks like, eligibility, then the IEP, educational placement, and then we have section 504 plan, and then we have additional resources, procedural safeguards, and then I think we talked a little bit about this one, we had legal kind of come in, just, you know, parents' rights and understanding their rights and responsibilities. So pretty detailed on all those as well in that document, but just a bigger picture of what special education looks like in the district. And then health and wellness is new. This is something I felt like was really important because we're talking about wellness so much. So just some changes I made were updated, and I actually did this on all the pages, updated our district health staff, so all of our nurses and where they're at and their contact, changed the format, so we obviously have health requirements, kindergarten, second grade, sixth grade. So what that looks like, kind of laid out by grade, and then those documents attached and updated those forms as well. And then now we have a new wellness section. So I had talked a little bit about our district community leadership team, and that is our grant we received 2 years ago. We've been working on with our partnerships with the center and then the library, and then talked about our new partnership and our parent and staff coaching. And that will be our landing page for a lot of these resources as well. So our new, right now we have our staff, or the link for the parent coaching in the flyer, and then I'll also like add the webinars on there, and then some of the newsletter resources as well. And then the social emotional learning, SEL and PBIS, so I obviously updated our social work teams at each building, talked a little bit about what SEL is, talked about our district screening process, so we do the mental health screener twice a year, and what that looks like and what we're looking for, the curriculum at each building, and then what PBIS is, just a brief statement, and then the descriptions of like our tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 PBIS. And then I also have our information on our McKinney-Vento Act and who to contact. And then,
Is there a way for the, what is PBIS to include like the examples that the schools use, like what their PBIS programs are, like just like a snippet on it? Cause like, I think that might be helpful for parents to know like the Bulldog bonuses or.
like like the language,
Yeah, just
yeah.
keep hammering home what these programs are and what they look like for you in your community school or in the middle school.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of something that like and when I was like doing SEL and wellness, it kind of like merges, but I was really trying to make sure that it wasn't too much as well, too much, where people would get lost. But we can there's definitely more resources that need to be added and things that we can do in regards to that specifically as well, like what it looks like for your student at that school.
I wouldn't even envision like a whole rundown of it, just like what is PBS? And like you might have heard your kids talk about Bulldog bonuses or
Right.
I apologize. I
Some
don't
of the
know other
language, again,
schools'
it's the
currencies that
language.
they.
Well, but I mean, if you have a student come home and talking about these things, the what?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's just another
The
acronym.
who?
It's like must ain't must at one
Right,
school,
right,
this is
so-
another, no, we get confused too when we're
Yes.
across the district, so yeah, that's a great example of something we could add. And again, it's all about the language and like the common language and hearing that language everywhere. I didn't add a slide for extended day, we've always had a link for extended day, and nothing has changed in there, but I wanted to make sure that I highlighted some of the changes in regards to the other. Any questions? Wow. Okay. Yeah.
One of the, I remember strategic planning, we sat at the table and it was we need to be clearer about about all of our programs. Our teachers need to be able to refer to it, our parents need to be able to refer to it, and now they can.
Yeah, and that's
That's really,
definitely
really
something when I
nice.
was thinking, like, early childhood and pre-kindergarten, obviously, those are the little ones. I mean, I don't know how many times I listened to Jean Hector, my secretary, explain the process
Of course.
and what programs and where they're at and the times.
you're
And like,
new
this
to
is
it,
the
it's
stuff that people should
intimidating.
see, and then the additional questions that come after, like. So that was definitely, like my team was kind of looking at all the websites and, some had so much that you get lost and some had like just enough or not enough, so. I imagine we'll keep thinking about it and.
Sure. Again, a parent new to it, now they know they're not gonna absorb it all on the first time
Right.
through either, right? So knowing that it exists and that they can go back and check it
Right.
out or read more or read something different, it's gotta be helpful. So
Yeah.
That's really great.
Hope so. Okay.
Thank you. Next up, Mr. Eric Grossi. And you have a colored copy of his levy presentation in front of you when he gets to that report as well.
Statement of expenditures, nothing crazy happened the last month. The main expenditure is salaries and benefits for the month of November. And now, the statement of revenues, we started to receive property taxes, as you'll see. We received roughly $3.5 million in property taxes over the month of November. And the rest of our revenue from the month was evidence-based funding and then some small other things, but we got about $4 million total in revenue during November. And as a result, the fund balance went up just a little bit because our revenues outweighed our expenditures during the month of November. Presentation of the tax levy. Today I'll be recommending the tax levy to the board. Today, December 19th, 2023, the adoption of the 2023 tax levy by the Board of Education. And then after this, the next step is I would just have to submit it to the county clerk on or before December 26th, so before.
Why do they do that? Why would they do?
Yeah, I don't know, it's
I'm
ridiculous.
thinking
I
after
was
your
thinking of
approval,
that
he'll
day
send it
too.
tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, really,
Yeah,
the
they're-
26th? Anyway, sorry, distracted.
They'll probably be closed, which makes no sense, but.
No, you'll have done your part, of
Yeah.
course, so yeah, absolutely.
Factors to consider in making the levy decision: the impact of the decision on the long-term financial condition of the district. How does the decision impact projected fund balance reserves? Impact of the decision on long-term quality of educational services in the district. Will the district be able to maintain fund balance reserve targets without adversely impacting staffing and programming? And then impact of the decision on the condition of the district's facilities. Will the district be able to address capital needs and wants while both maintaining fund balance reserve targets and desired educational services? This slide shows the history of the tax cap in Illinois. You'll notice the last 2 years are the 2.5% years, 2022 and 2023. And on the bottom, I wanted to point out that the last 10 years period of tax caps, the average is 2.28%, even with the 2.5%. So it averages out. Breakdown of our revenue. As you'll see, real estate taxes make up 72% of our total revenue for the year, which is a very high number. I've looked at other districts in the area and we're one of the higher reliances towards real estate taxes. And then evidence-based funding second with 15%, federal grants and other local 5%, state grants 3%. The recommended tax levy for levy year 2023 is a total levy of $25,002,000, $400,000 towards IMRF fund, $600,000 towards Social Security, $1 million towards transportation fund, $18,822,000 to education fund, $2.3 million in operations and maintenance, $200,000 in working cash, and $1,680,000 in special education fund. And then also the levy would impact a $300,000 market value home by an estimated $16.23 a month, and a $200,000 market value home by an estimated $10.31 a month. State law requires that we start doing fund balances during the levy presentation, so our fund balances at the beginning, ending in June 30th, 2023, were a total of $17,885,000. Anyone have any questions?
Okay, question.
Yep.
There's a law that's due to take effect that was part of a training that I took. And my question is do we receive, let's make sure we get this right. It says board of any school district that does not receive federal impact aid funding. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, so impact aid is if there's a territory that, like, for example, I used to be at Lamont High School, and when I was at Lamont, they didn't get a lot of property taxes because just they had like tribal area. So it's a form that like, it's another way to receive revenue. So you have to go to the Capitol every year and then you request that to be a part of the state budget, and then that state budget is a way of getting the revenues.
Okay, so I would take it that that we do not receive.
No, there's only a few districts.
So with that in mind, with this, I watched the training, it's a bill, it's the operational fund expenditure report and reserve reduction plan. So in reading this, it amounted to that school boards would have to reduce their reserve to a certain level, a certain amount. It has something to do with looking at a 3-year financial expenditure. I don't know, it's in your language, that's all I can say. But with that said, I'm concerned, or my question is if we have to abide by this, because this is a new state law that is now, taking effect, how does that affect the current levy that we're proposing to approve tonight?
I mean, there's nothing that we were informed about as school districts from the state to be aware of in this, from different presentations that I've attended. Nobody's really mentioned that, but if you could you please forward that over to me so I could take a look at it?
Because it's part of the policy that we're gonna go over.
Yeah, my understanding, if it was above 2 years.
Above 2 years?
And our current fund balance reserve, Charles is shaking his head. something along those lines, but we can look into.
It would be Aaron Roberts, I can say something in public comment if you like.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's okay. But it's, we're not at that point to which we would have to maximize.
Okay,
So, but we can look into that information further, don't quote me on the 2-year timeline, and then we can provide the board follow-up information.
Second question, because I was not on the board last year.
Uh-huh.
The substantial jump in the levy from 21 to 22. Why was it necessary? Just
From 21 to 22.
21 to 22, yeah, there's,
So if you look at CPI history over time, the biggest impact that happened with, and Eric, you can jump in at any time, is directly related to CPI. So the economy obviously had a massive impact on CPI overall. And so you'll see in 22 and 23, it's, I'm gonna say an educational anomaly where you would have 5% 2 years in a row to which we could collect based on revenue. So if you look at his slide on page 4, the average CPI is 2.28. And that's typical over time.
The idea is it averages out, so it's CPI or 5%, whichever is lower is what you could levy for. So in order to maximize our revenues for the students, we did the 5%.
We have no control over that.
And you're still coming in
It's not set
under
by-
CPI on those.
Oh,
2
yeah,
years.
yeah, and
So that's, I mean, that's just how much inflation has really increased.
so you're doing it on an overall average, is that what, that's what you're counting?
yeah, just
Okay.
it makes up for the, there's 2 years back to back with 2015, 2016, that were 0.8, 0.7, so we were only able to get 0.8% increase, 0.7%, so it just averages out in the long run.
Okay.
And they're expecting for it to be back in the 3s hopefully next year.
Okay, that's, okay.
I would also say too, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but the other impact is during COVID, homes were not assessed.
Yes, okay.
The
That's true.
values of home were not, everything was put on pause. And so that also directly impacts the taxpayer, to which again was without a control of the district. But it is still our recommendation that we move forward with maximizing our revenue in order to be able to increase educational opportunities for kids.
So it's in essence, we're playing kind of like catch-up because of COVID, but we're still coming in under with an average.
I mean,
That's more of a simpler way of looking at it.
I would say because of COVID, there were a lot of anomalies that took place. Assessed values weren't directly tied to a levy, a lot of things were put on pause, CPI was decreased, now it's inflated, and so it's really more of, to me, it's like a cause and effect that we're really seeing more than anything.
Okay.
And
We'd anticipate next year's levy to maybe reduce.
You said back in the 3s.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're thinking it's gonna be in the 3s, and then the next year would hopefully be mid-2s, and
Okay.
just kind of start making its way back towards the historical average.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions?
I asked my husband, the CPA, all of these questions. I asked the same questions.
Right.
Of course, like, we're homeowners, we're board
Well,
members.
that's the thing, I feel like you
Like,
see the
we-
5%, it seems like a lot, but it's
Yeah.
also one of those where it's like, that 5% isn't even like keeping you up with the increased cost of like doing day-to-day operations.
Exactly.
You know, and that's one where, so if you take anything less, like you're never gonna be able to catch up that deficit that you've already accrued.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it would impact our overall compounded rate over time, so if we were to ask for anything less, what would happen is next year we would levy on that amount. So next year when we go to levy, we're gonna levy on that 25 million, because that's what we requested. So if we were to ask for less, let's say we asked for 3% or 4% and we were only levying off of 24 million,
Okay.
it's not gonna affect us just this year, but years to come, which would then impact overall educational opportunities, opportunities for facilities. And I think we would be in a different place in space if I said we had 2 years worth of reserves, and we're not currently at that point, we're right around 6 months.
Yeah, it can create long-term, like, budget
Impact.
deficits.
Exactly, and it would be looked down upon in terms of the state.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did learn in the conference that we attended that you do not factor in money that you have not received.
Yeah, of course, not in the state of Illinois,
Right?
David.
You do not factor in money you did not receive. So.
They're better than they used to be.
Yeah.
Like, we get it more consistently,
Yes.
on time than in the past, so
Okay.
that's kind of
Safe to say.
Yeah.
Safe to say.
yeah.
All right, thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will be voting on that, next item B. Okay, thank you, Eric. Public comments, Sonia?
I don't have any.
Okay, thank you. But I'm still gonna read my words. So, this would be the portion on the agenda for public comments. A few reminders specifically about the logistics for the public comments portion of every meeting, including this evening, as is posted on our agenda publicly for every meeting. To respect all of our stakeholders, our commenters, our board, our public, we adhere very closely to the 3-minute limit for comments for everyone. We will set a timer and we expect everyone to respect their 3 minutes. In addition, we do not respond to public comments at board meetings, but we do hear them. We respect, we listen to, and we take into account all of the community members' concerns. If there's anything specific, a specific question that comes up that we can respond to after the meeting, we will do so quickly, timely. I don't wanna say the next day, but you know, as quickly as we can. Okay? All right, on to board reports with me. So, I was mentioning to Jenna that I've been at a number of meetings lately, but it is really great to see how it all fits together. It all tells the story and it's really awesome. So, we had our district review team meeting on Monday, the 27th. There were positive things, which is always great, celebrations. I think that it was even in our packet this time around. Were the minutes in our packet this time around? You're all looking at me
Yes.
skeptically,
Sonia's
so
saying
that's
yes.
not, okay.
They're in here, I'm looking at them. They're right there.
Okay, so the first issue that was asked about from the staff was why are fidelity checks being used in the classroom and being assessed by not an administrator? And I think the spirit of the question was the teacher was not afraid, but was concerned that somebody not administratively was evaluating them. And the point of the conversation, which was a very healthy, robust conversation, was that the fidelity check about a behavioral plan is about the student and their behavior plan. So if there's a fidelity check, it's really just checking in on the student and how their behavior plan is being implemented, and if they are getting the support they need and if they need anything more. So that was, again, it was a very lively and good conversation though. Issue 2 was a question about curriculum. So we've done math and we've done reading, and so the question was about social studies and science curriculums next. We are piloting currently science and social studies.
At Central Middle School.
At Central. And there should be at least a recommendation by spring for social studies. And I know it's hard to think about it on these darkest days of the year, but spring is not that far away. So that is in the works already. So it was a fair question to ask, and the conversation, again, was lively, so it's good. Issue 3 was, I think it was specifically, it was hard to guess from the question how it was stated, but it seemed to be a question regarding a vertical articulation meeting at the high school and just a scheduling thing. So the teachers couldn't make it back to Central in time, whatever. Like, I totally get that, and I think that could be addressed simply, you know,
Internally.
not from, but understanding that those meetings are really helpful and really great that our teachers are at the high school.
It is, I feel like they've been extremely helpful.
That's
Like,
great.
like,
So yeah, it's a logistics question, I think, more than anything. But yeah, it was helpful. And then the fourth question, was that the last one? Yes. So the fourth question was about, I'm gonna use the quote, individual growth goals for improvement in the type 3 assessment for para. And so it was a question about how the teachers, I even wrote it down, because it was a complex question. So what the question was about was if teachers were going to be negatively impacted if all of their students didn't meet the same percentage of growth. And the point of the conversation, all of my principals, please tell me if I'm getting this wrong, okay? All right? So the question was, instead, the percentage of the students that were meeting their personal goals, right? Their growth. So if 75% is hopefully the average, but maybe not all students are at 75%, maybe they're at 50. And is the percentage is not how many students meet the 75, it's how many meet their own personal goals that are set based on the assessments. So,
And district consistency.
Oh,
ensuring that
absolutely.
we're on the right path for district consistency.
so, the on the right path for consistency, I was at another meeting, I've been to a lot of meetings lately. But it was the building leaders, and that's where our principals actually walked this through, and we discussed how each of the 5 buildings handles that currently. And it was nice to hear the input from everyone and gain consensus. And I guess when you just go to a lot of meetings, I've been going to a lot, but it's been very gratifying to see how it all really does fit together. So district review team, building leaders, we had the Together Let's Communicate meeting with the union, and we got to talk about that again. It's really great to see how all of those pieces fit together for really good communication and for our students' benefits, so there you go. Questions? Cool. Next one isn't till January. Not surprisingly, we're not meeting next week, so. Yeah. Finance committee?
So the finance committee had our first meeting as our current body is constructed of the year. And we just asked Eric to put together kind of like a school board finance 102. Like, we just wanted to do like a little bit of a deeper dive than what he presents to us each month. We felt like we had enough under our belt to pass 101. It was pass fail, so. But it was really good to get a deeper dive into the finances. He provided us with a historic look at some of our financial profile scores, which is a kind of a metric that helps just synthesize the overall financial health of the school district. And it was really interesting to see where we've come from, the trajectory we're on, which we believe is a positive upward trend. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our union as well, because while we were in negotiations in '22, can't believe that was almost 2 years ago. We had asked for them to be patient with us and to work with us on several issues in our budget realities. And they were gracious enough to accept that and to work with us on it. And as a result of this meeting and some other things, I'm confident that we're gonna be able to reciprocate on that trust.
Absolutely.
But that was really all we talked about.
And it really all does, it all does come together.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
And in January, you will receive an update from the audit,
Oh, yes.
which will be provided by our auditor, will be in attendance, correct, Eric? Yes.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks for
you,
calling that
Michael.
meeting.
Yes.
That's great. Alright. Joint annual conference report. Anybody? How'd it go? Did we like it? It was first time for a couple people, what was that? It was a lot.
But that one speaker was fabulous. I forgot her
loved
name.
her, yes.
I cried. Like,
Yes, I
she
did
was
too.
Terrari.
fabulous.
Terrari?
I went home talking about her to my husband.
Denise met her. She's got pictures.
Yeah,
In the book, the
she
science
was
book.
I
fabulous.
know, she was. Dr. Terrari,
I can't think of her name.
she was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta follow up on that one.
Yeah.
It's on I bought the book. It's on
Oh, you bought the book?
I did, but I haven't read the book yet, but it was, we all cried.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole line
It
of
was
us.
so emotional, yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a whole line of us.
Yeah, no, it was really powerful.
Mhm.
I did
yeah.
fill out the survey that they sent.
Oh, nice.
My thing was I felt that there needs to be 2 different levels, maybe like a beginning level of conference classes
That makes
and a
sense.
more advanced level of conference, because some of the conferences that I attend, they were one-on-one and they were basic, so I didn't grow or gain anything from them. I mean,
Right.
it's the knowledge I already had. But had there been like advanced classes for, you know, teachers and administrators who have been in the field for quite some time, I think they'll learn more, or it'll be more valuable.
If we could know what the educational outcome, if we could know what the educational outcomes was, or the intended outcomes were for the programs, we could choose, you're right, like, if it's not a,
Because
we could pass Finance 101, maybe we want Finance 102.
Right, because even with the finance class, the tax class, it was basically on their budget and what they did right or wrong with their particular budget. But their budget is not our budget.
True.
And the concept, you know, could be, you know, but it should have been more focused on, hey, this is what's going on, these are new terms, these are new things, these is something that you can bring back to the board and say, hey, board, this is what I learned, let me tell you. Instead of like, okay, yo, those are dollars, yes, you spent it, I understand, you know, things of that nature.
We got that,
Yeah,
okay.
even the
and then- all right.
class that we took on, conference that was on, passing a bill,
Oh,
passing a
okay.
bill. It
Nice.
was as ABC as it could ever be. I felt like I was watching like the Schoolhouse Rock video.
That's what I was just
Yeah,
picturing.
I'm just a bill,
As
it
soon
was,
as you
it was
said
just
that,
that basic.
the music's going through my
Yeah.
head. Yes,
So-
thanks a lot.
You know, honestly, I kinda like drifted off of my mind, I was thinking about other things while he was, you know, giving the conference, but it was too basic. But
Okay.
if there's a need for new board members to come into like basic classes like that, then yes, there should be. I was looking more of at advancements of how we can go to Springfield and what different maneuvers we can use, or, you know, different kind of tools that
Sure.
way.
That really is a good idea, and I don't always get to go to the Saturday things because the delegate assembly is like 2.5 hours long. So by the time I'm done with that, I don't always get to choose. But that's really true, like, and you know, you might be a new board member, but you know negotiations because of your background. So having it next level for specifically, you know, nice.
And other than that, I just didn't like walking across the bridge. Put that- I love you bodies of
wasn't
water,
even
and walking
cold
across
this
that bridge
year.
is really not cool when the trucks come and it's
No.
yeah.
It was not even cold this year, but yeah, when it's all vibrating
I
and
totally agree. I
yeah,
don't want
freezing
like
right now.
4 flights
Oh, those
of
stairs,
Yeah,
the
those
stairs.
That was
That
So,
was a lot of stairs.
but you
But
can't
it
just
was-
stay
it
in
was a
one
lot.
building, like, I've tried that too, and that doesn't always work, so
Even with the vendors, it was a lot, oh my God.
there was so much
It was so
down
much, I got, what, 3/4 of the way and said, okay, I can take a break.
there.
I went back up the stairs. It was a lot, you know.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming when
Yeah.
it's your first time.
Yeah. And what else did we learn? Oh, you
I learned
were
that
sick.
can stay in your household.
I was like,
for
I know
no
you had
weeks.
planned to.
Back to this side,
Oh, and I'm
look
looking
back to
at
this
poor
side of the room.
Michael, and you were like, everybody in your household was sick. Okay,
Back to the
so
side of
I'm
the
gonna
room.
keep focusing over here. So, Lauren and I went to a superintendent evaluation presentation.
And I did too. I went to a different one.
Yeah, and that
I really
was,
liked the tool.
we are, in the same way that we are reviewing our policy
Mhm.
and automating that and getting it online, we'd like to do the same thing with the evaluation process.
Yes.
So we went to that in hopes of learning some more information about how to make that happen. And then I went to a great workshop on Friday afternoon about influence. It was really, really great. My social media manager is very happy with my recent videos because I'm looking at the camera better. Looking at the camera. But it was good, and it was just how to communicate better, right? And that's what we were all looking for. The delegate assembly happened on Saturday morning. There were really only 5 things that we were looking at anyway, and there were 2 things that the committee had recommended to not adopt, and the districts that had put forth the resolutions did not contest the do not adopt, so we didn't even talk about them. So I have no idea why it still took 2.5 hours, but it still took 2.5 hours. So there you go. So 2 resolutions were approved via delegate vote, 417 delegates voted. A measure that would request the Illinois legislature consider legislation providing educational funding for an SRO was approved. Also approved was the resolution for IASB to support changes to regulations to return return back to the February 2023 levels for the buses. And then I think those were the main two that we talked about, do not. Cause the other ones were do not adopt and they indeed did not adopt them, so, okay. Anything else? Okay, awesome. I know there's agenda here somewhere, sorry guys. Where did I get my agenda?
You want mine?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think that was it, and we don't have arrow or, okay. So next up then is our action items. Consent agenda item A is to approve the monthly transaction reports for November of 2023. 2 is to approve the fund balance reports for November of 2023. 3 is to approve expenditure report and projected payroll report for December of 2023. 4 is to approve the board minutes from the special meeting of November 7th, 2023. 5 is to approve board minutes from the regular meeting of November 14th, 2023. That seems like so long ago. Oh my gosh. Approve the closed session minutes from the regular meeting of November 14th, 2023. Number 7 is to approve destruction of closed session tapes from August of 2019. Number 8 is to accept the personnel recommendations as listed, additions, FMLA, medical leave, resignation with intent to retire, and resignations as listed. If I could have a first motion to accept the consent agenda items, A.
Motion to accept consent agenda item A.
Excellent, and a second. This is yours, I won't write on yours.
You
And a
can write
roll
on
call,
it.
please.
You can write on it.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Say yes, but I'm not happy about one of the resignations.
I know. Gotcha.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes,
Michael Omeler, yay.
he knows.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Okay. Action item B is to approve the fiscal year 24 tax levy as explained and presented by Mr. Grucy this evening. If I could have a first motion, please, to approve.
Motion to approve the 24 tax levy.
Great, and a second, please.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, and a roll call.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Michael Omeler, yay. Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Okay. Action item C is to approve contracts with Johnson Control Security Solutions LLC and Suburban Door Check and Lock Service for additional fob access at a total cost of $183,232.96. If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks. And a second?
I will second it.
And a roll call?
I have a question before you call roll.
Oh, certainly.
I'm just, with the total cost,
Mm-hmm.
did we bid out this project or was it just, how do we come up with the number? I mean, I saw it's like 1,000 forms.
There were a lot of contracts.
So I'm just trying to figure out, is
Lot of contracts attached.
some of the pricing, I mean, just in general, I just looked at some of the locks that they're
Yeah.
proposing and I looked at some of the prices of the locks and.
So
and-
we currently use Johnson Controls for all of our fobs, so we went with the same company. And so in order to do so, we would have to switch companies and it would be an extenuated cost to the district.
Mhm.
The quotes to which you saw were divided up by doors
Right.
and then also the locksmith work that needs to be conducted. So the fob access and then there's locksmith work that needs to be completed to complete the project in each one of the buildings. Does that make sense?
So we're currently using this company for the
Correct.
current fobs that we have.
Correct.
So in a sense of it would be the least costly because then we would have to possibly replace the
all of
current
them.
equipment that we have.
Yes.
Okay. That answers.
Good question.
Yep.
Okay.
Rachel Merrickwin. Michael Omeler, yay. Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes,
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
great, thank you. Okay, we will now recess to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel of the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity as amended, et cetera, all in, roll call?
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. You're a good sport, Michael Miller.
I am the bench warmer for this role,
You're
so.
doing great.
Alright, Michael Miller, yay. Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Awesome, all right. We will, be taking action after closed session, but we will not be live streaming any longer after closed session. You're welcome to stick around, but it could be a bit, cause we've got stuff to talk about. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, however you choose to celebrate. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoy a long 2 weeks off, and there are cupcakes.
Yes.
Please partake.
My kindergartner informed me that there are 18 days off.
18
Yeah.
days off.
Holy
Oh, I
cow.
like that, okay.
Well, that's like